I remember the early days of the anime community when people had an opinion about certain things, they would usually go into two spectrums of the case. You would either have people that would agree with your opinion, or basically not necessarily agree, or basically clown on you. But it would never get to as serious as, you know, crazy ass things that we see people do often these days. That what kind of sucks about the anime community now. And to be perfectly honest, it's not necessarily in the best shape and form that it used to be. And it's understandable why people want to go as far as to wanting to gatekeep the shit out of this community, as well as just any space where anime is related, because you have a bunch of people that come through, not necessarily comprehending that there's more countries out there than America, and essentially just cannot understand or comprehend the culture that goes around with other things in other countries and other different ways that people handle certain things and can understand and take certain things in ways. One of the biggest issues that people obviously have when it comes to anime in general, and possibly the only biggest issue in anime history, is lolly content or lolly characters or anything lolly related, which we have stated time and time again that if you like it, you just go ahead and like it. If you don't like it, then that's fine. You don't have to necessarily deal with it. See, if this was the old days of anime, when it comes down to people of lolicon of liking those type of characters, they would just simply be like, yo, I kind of like this type of character. It's a bit strange, I know, but it is what it is. They kind of cool. And so people would definitely clown you for it, but again, they would move on. Or you would have somebody be like, yo, I like a lolly character as well, like Hana or something. I think she's pretty badass. And that's some shit I heard before. And that's some shit I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not the only one that think this is like pretty okay, right? So it's not necessarily anything on a spectrum of, oh, we're gonna do some crazy ass things or anything like that. It's just like, damn, we just like these characters because that's all they are. Characters at the end of the day. Yet for some reason, new generations of people don't necessarily have any brains to work with. They don't necessarily understand how the old things of the past worked, right? When there was a level of respect between opinions, and even if you don't necessarily agree, we just kept our mouth shut or don't necessarily say anything too negative or go into any route when it comes to that. Nowadays, you have new people coming through, and all they know how to do is run amok, cause chaos, and just make it everybody's problem because they keep being sissy enough to not be able to handle it themselves regarding someone's opinion or something like that. And it has gotten absolutely atrocious and dreadful when it comes down to how people act in certain ways regarding a person's opinion or regarding someone making content in the area of anime and things of the sort. Same thing that kind of went for a lot of the lolicon VTubers that is out there and lolly VTubers themselves. Such as the case with Miko Amai. Now, when it comes down to things, I'll be completely honest with you. I haven't seen a lot of Miko's content. I haven't necessarily been around Miko's content a lot that much, right? I've seen her on Twitter. I follow a lot of the stuff that she has done though when it comes to that. And, she seems pretty damn cool overall, honestly. Not necessarily anything that's crazy or anything that's out there. Hell, this is a lolly VTuber that actually doesn't do anything risky or crazy like the rest of them, honestly. So that's something very new and something I haven't really seen before. Tell me why, for some weird reason, she got suspended on Twitter and for absolutely no reason, right? Like, they literally suspended her account because of apparent abuse or something like that when she hasn't done anything like that. She hasn't posted anything like that. She hasn't said anything crazy. She literally hasn't done anything like that, nor have done anything, of sexual content. So, why did her account get suspended? I have zero idea why that is the case.
Well, I took a small break to deal with mental health stuff, only to return to find that Twitter suspended my account. So you may ask why. Well, apparently this, womp womp, square square, womp womp, square square, and this is apparently abusive behavior. That's right, guys, I got mass reported because me, Miko, is apparently the worst thing you'll ever have on your feed. I can't get over how angry I feel and yet devastated. But I guess spending like 2 years of hard work only to have it taken away from you is enough to piss anyone off. I just feel pretty damn betrayed by Twitter at this point. I've been appealing for a good few days or so, only to tend to get the same damn freaking message in response.
And she doesn't understand why. I don't understand why. Nobody really understands why. The only thing that we can come down to as, what could potentially be the case here is potentially someone didn't like her because she's a damn lolly VTuber, and that's just how that rodeo show goes. And this ain't nothing new. This has happened way in the past with VTubing blowing up and people starting to really come out their shells with these characters and starting to have these sort of lolly characters, basically get them rammed out the way and just let them, suffer and all that type of stuff. Where now we have nothing but booba tubers, honestly, and no type of variety, which is honestly really trash. So out of everything, we don't understand why she got suspended, and they just permanently just got rid of her account for some weird reason. And again, I completely do not understand why. We can only suspect that she's been mass reported by a group of people or someone leading a charge. Now, for that particular situation, I have zero idea who it could be. I have zero idea on where it could be landing on because Miko Amai is not the only lolly VTuber that's been getting harassed by other people lately. There has been plenty of other cases in the past where there was Alice Alcar back then, whether it was Rune at one point, whether it was other VTubers from back in the day that has gotten harassed about doing lolly VTuber stuff, and they don't even go that hard or crazy about it. And if they did, it's behind a paywall where you can't see it, or even if you still had a problem with it, you can always just ignore it. But apparently, people don't use that part of their brains anymore. So of course we're gonna have somebody go through and try to harass the shit out of people, basically try to get their accounts suspended and do a whole bunch of nonsense that equally does not matter over a fictional effing character because no one has anything better to do with their lives. Again, I can't necessarily tell you what happened on Miko's side of things, and maybe one day, if this channel still be here, maybe we can have Miko to come through on the channel and maybe talk a bit about how she feel about things and certain stuff as well. If she has a Discord, then maybe if I'll try to see if I can get that if that's the case, and see if we can get something going for a video. But when it comes on things, it's not necessarily just something that could easily be brushed off, though, or at least it shouldn't be, because it's been happening to a lot of YouTubers recently for some weird reason or other. And as you already know, my ass has gone through a similar thing in the past with Clay. Now, when it comes on things, I haven't seen anything of him recently. I haven't heard anything about him, haven't seen anything about him, just the way I like it, honestly. Stay out of my way, I stay out of yours. No one needs to be saying shit about anybody anymore. Let's just keep it separate, stay out of our own lane, and that's all we gotta do. It is not that hard. Just leave people the hell alone, let nothing happen, and we don't have to say a damn word, honestly. That problem is solved. That problem does not necessarily matter anymore. But there is been a problem that I've been dealing with for about a few months now that has been absolutely effing atrocious and has been completely unreasonable as to really why this has been happening. If you remember from, I believe, the video I did, basically child having like that whole whale dream and Lamine dream, like having a dream and thinking about that stuff. Between that period of that video I made and the Sonic Frontiers video, how high tails can go, there was some nonsense that was completely ensuing. Outside the fact that my house was still being dealt with when it comes to the mortgage and things like that, and that's still an ongoing issue, there's also a whole thing where, my Twitter at the time got suspended. And that was very weird, out of nowhere, didn't necessarily understand. And when it comes down to things, it kind of kept happening. So I made a new one, and then that one eventually got suspended for some weird reason and couldn't get that back. And so I basically made a secret account, honestly, and that was the one I was using until today, where that one got suspended as well. And I haven't done anything crazy, right? I haven't really posted anything wild or out there and outlandish, honestly. And hell, Twitter doesn't necessarily put you out there in front of people to begin with because they like to dumb it down if you don't have Twitter Blue because who is paying $8 for that bullshit? So what is going on, honestly? And that's when I find out that basically I'm under the same nonsense. I'm completely under the same nonsense. Basically getting spammed with different people, basically getting thrown into different situations where, I'm basically getting attacked all corners, try to figure out what the hell is going on. The reason why you probably haven't even heard me say anything about my Discord server anymore is because that server is deleted. I had to delete it. You want to know why? Because some of those people who has been attacking me had basically spammed gore into that server, and I had no choice but to delete that shit. There was never a problem before then, and that was the weirdest thing. Why is all this happening? What the hell is going on? Well, the one thing I can say is that I do remember and know is essentially that there was one person that came through on Twitter at the time before all the suspicious stuff came through. And they were basically like, oh, I'm a fan of your work. I like all this stuff. Can you give me your Discord so we can have a more of a, bit of a connection and stuff like that? And at first, I was a bit sketchy about this. Why did you come here with that, type of thing? Why was that the case? Why did you come through saying that you're a fan? I'm like, what kind of video do you like out of me? And they didn't even say what. And I was skeptical, but I wasn't super cautious as a whole, even though I was skeptical as shit. So I dropped in the server, and lo and behold, all that nonsense ended up happening. So I felt pretty devastated about the whole thing, obviously. It wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to see. It wasn't something that anyone else wanted to basically see either. It only hit me when people started spamming me on Twitter saying, yo, something's going wrong with the damn server. And that's why I had to basically just go out my way to delete that shit. As it stands right now, I don't have a server at all. I still do have Discord, but I do not have a server, and I am very cautious on who the hell I let in as like a person that could want to be friends or something like that. Honestly, and that's essentially how that basically goes. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell at the moment. And as time goes on, trying to figure out how to basically deal with this situation of who are these people, what is happening, and all this type of stuff. Where is this really coming from, essentially? And that's when I found out through to one of the people that actually is a really good homie, telling me that it was a group called Soyjak Party. Now, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, and I've also seen information like a guide or something like that telling you how to kind of get away from this situation the best way you can and stuff like that. It's on the internet, you can find it. But definitely one of the big things before you start typing it into Google and try to go in without no VPN or nothing like that, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. Do not go in without a VPN. In fact, do not touch that website at all because they will tack your VPN and IP, whatever, and all that type of stuff, and basically try to dox you for information and all that sort of garbage. And that's something that you do not necessarily need. They have set that in their guide. If I can find it, I'll try to find it and show you. But definitely, that's something that you don't need to do. Do not access that website no matter what. And if you are curious about what it is a site that definitely has a lot of nonsense in it. A lot of racism, a lot of transphobia, a lot of homophobia, a lot of just hatred and all type of things, xenophobia, all across the board. Now, I can't tell you if the entire website is like that. I assume it kind of is, but the part I've seen, at least where I was a part of, it definitely was like that. And and even if you were to type in my name and you look through Google Images, you probably would find the site, and that's how I knew of it. But when it comes down to things, yeah, don't access that site unless you just know how to super go through that shit and not to basically get your information effed over by them or something like that. And that's just how that kind of goes. So at this point, after realizing that that's what basically I'm getting attacked by, I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so how do we deal with this? Basically, I asked somebody for help when it comes to it, and essentially they were just saying you just gotta ignore this situation, try to let it pass. And I tried to. They did not stop. So guess what? I just said, let me make a comeback and drop the video where Kana's face is on the thumbnail and basically vented out my frustration about just the entire thing of Lolly and why it isn't really that important to get so upset about the subject of it, honestly. So I'm thinking maybe that will solve the problem. Maybe that will get people to chill out, honestly. Like, I do not genuinely care if you like the subject or not. That is not my responsibility, nor my care to have, your opinion on it. If you don't like it, I don't really care. Go piss off. But when it comes down to things, they still don't necessarily stop, which is why you may have seen hints of certain comments coming through spamming the same dumb message, you know, over and over in the comments, which I basically kind of had to go through and, essentially get rid of or hide the user from the channel because F those people. It's just pointless, man. It's literally just pointless shit. But when it comes down to things, that's essentially what I've been going through for a while, honestly, and it's just been hella annoying. Like, their attacks has been basically pretty wild. Like, some of those attacks even go as far as, yo, sending me fan mail through the email and all that type of stuff. And that's hella suspicious. One, because you would know where to send that. I have tags for that. Why would I need to click through the email? You have tags for that, so you would know where to go. And B, those links are fake as hell, right? Obviously, if you get a email that is from anybody that you don't know, definitely go through a URL, checker and basically see where this thing is going to redirect you. And lo and behold, if I were to click on that shit, guess what? It takes you to Soyjak party. Oh hell no. So yeah, essentially it's been a wild time, right? They only tried it twice, so I'm pretty sure they realized that okay, he's not trying for this shit. Which no shit, I'm not trying for it. But when it comes down to things, it's just been a nuisance after another and after another. But you're probably asking yourself too, well, all this shit's been happening, right? What exactly been the direct cause? Who is leading the charge of this shit, right? Something has to have to happen for this to be the case. And you're right, it is. There's a person out there called Kanosuke7 or so, and when it comes down to things, they are by far the leading charge of said attack in situations that we keep getting put in, honestly. And they have been the leading charge of taking down not only the Twitter accounts, but also the Discord server as well. And it's just been a frustrating time as things go on. I have never contacted this person. I have never said a word to this person. There's been times I don't even report this person. I don't care who this person is. It is not my responsibility to care who this person is. And at the end of the day, it's just been a hell of a hassle to deal with, honestly. Sending me other emails, which, talking about some nonsense like, yeah, we'll take down every other account, acting like they Stewie Griffin with the most evilest of plans or some shit like that, like calm the absolute hell down. And when it comes down to things, it's just been a nuisance and jarring issue, one after another and after another. And they sent tons and tons of different ways to try to basically harass me in any shape and form. And it's been hella annoying. And it really has been the worst of it, honestly. And it really hasn't been, something that it's been something that's been bad, but it never gotten that bad until today, where they decided to be like, all right, we're gonna take away your Patreon. And that's what they did. They ended up taking that shit away, and now I have no source of income whatsoever. Do not believe for a second, though, I'm not gonna stop trying to find a way, but definitely when it comes down to things, they took that shit away. I don't have that anymore. And I didn't realize I didn't have it until an email popped up today. And that was whack as. It was a whack thing. I ain't gonna say the word. It was a whack thing. Definitely something that got me extremely heated. Something that had me very frustrated throughout the entirety of this thing. And the worst part is, even though this was happening, do you think I was searching for help? Of course I was. I tried to contact as many people as I knew. I tried to talk to many people that is within the same sphere as myself. And all they could do is either apologize over the situation and not necessarily involve themselves into it. And it's understandable. I don't want you to be involved into it where you're putting your own self in danger as well because it's all stupid. Again, all this over a fictional standard, right? a fictional thing that's probably older than any of these damn antis that is out there, right? This is just completely bonkers over a little fictional opinion. It does not matter. If there was something real and something bad about this whole thing that could be leading down to something very nasty and disgusting, I'm pretty sure I will be the one to tell you not to deal with this and definitely be the one to not deal with it myself. But because we know it's fiction, we know it's fake as hell, and you said in your email that it's cartoon, why does this matter? Still giving me nonsense. And the only thing why I have to come out of it when it comes to it is that seeing as much as I try to ask for help, to get some attention and things of that sort regarding this issue, is that not really many people were there to help. And it sucks. Very few people came through to try to give me advice about what I could do in certain types of aspects, but that's essentially it. And again, for those people that I've told, I don't blame them for not wanting to do anything. Because, yeah, this is a lot. This sucks. And I'm not the only person that's gone through this. Again, there's possibly other people, other VTubers that's gone through this shit as well. And no one has ever said a word about it. And it sucks, but it's also stupid at the same time. Meaning you're basically enabling this shit to happen to someone else, and no one knows how to deal with this shit. I even tried to talk to Kiho or Reses Desu or Hirohei and try to bring it to their attention, but to my surprise, I had gotten nobody of attention of those levels, those news reporting levels of content creators, got no attention from them. And at first I was thinking maybe they didn't necessarily, see my comment or DM or anything like that. But then I started really thinking about it. No, this is weird. They should have seen something, especially on Rev's side of things. Now, I again am just going to go from what I see on my side and just going to completely tell you my experience when it comes to it. And essentially, I'm like, yo, maybe this is the way out. Someone with more bigger power than me, influential power than me, maybe this is the way. And yet, nothing came out of that shit, right? And it's weird, and it just made me think, wait, so what the hell is going on with this? And as I talked to some other people about this, trying to reach out for them, they were basically saying that they probably don't necessarily want to deal with anybody that's of the lower variety that could bring in lower views or content and things like that, and doesn't necessarily give you the time of day because you're a smaller content creator, and it wouldn't do, the big bucks of views and things like that, right? And it's just like, what? When the hell should that ever matter, right? Don't get wrong, there's probably plenty of other people that's gone through the same nonsense as I gone through, but still, if you know something is wrong, or if you see someone trying to reach out for help, why not reach out for them? But then I kind of forgot. That's just kind of how the world is. If you're not getting the big bucks, they don't give a single F. You already know. But when it comes down to things, that's just kind of how I felt. So I'm basically on my own. There is no online influencer news reporter that can honestly help me with this situation. And it just made me think, wow, they are all effing useless. And that's what I kind of feel, honestly, right? That's just literally how it is. And I just don't necessarily understand why this is the case. So when it comes down to things, I just had to basically deal with this for really this whole time. Not necessarily knowing what to do, how to solve this problem, how to fix all this shit, and get them off my ass for 10 seconds. And I've just been struggling with this shit for just months now. And at the end of all things, when it comes down to losing all my accounts, to basically losing a lot of, people when it comes to it, not necessarily getting the help I need, and when it comes down to things, you know what I damn sure realized though? Is that somebody has to step in, say something about this, so this shit doesn't continue on, honestly. Like, this shit has to cease, 100%. And you know what I also realized too? The whole reason why Kanosuke is on my ass is probably because of Mr. Anime 343. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have any beef with you. I don't necessarily want to start any nonsense with you. I don't. You go through enough shit as it is. But I'm not necessarily gonna lie. It's hella annoying when I have to see my name being brought into your conversations. And that's probably the reason why I'm losing everything as it is. And if I lose this channel, damn sure I'm going after you 100%. It is what it is. But when it comes down to things, this has been a big ass issue when it comes down to just people wanting to use my name for certain things. And again, if you don't like my takes, fine. If you like my takes, cool. But at the end of the day, do not bring me into your conversations when it comes to, oh, but this guy wouldn't stand up for it, or this and that and sort of thing. You could do that when I'm at a high level. You can do that when I'm at a high level of content creation and millions of people know who I am. That's fine, because guess what? I have money then. If anybody comes at me at that point, I'll be stacked. Right? I could be like Pokemon at that point. Be calling people broke as shit and just being like, you're poor. Buy my cookies. Who would have paid $28 for a bag of cookies? Damn. Anyway, when it comes down to things, whole point is don't chuck my name into shit. Because that's most likely the reason why he's even after me in the first damn place. I wouldn't have any issue with that if I was popular, but that's like a whole big thing. I'm not. No one really knows who I am really, outside of people that maybe, hates me, or people that take screenshots of my content and maybe make a meme out of it in the negative way. So when it comes down to things, don't take my name and then shove that shit into a conversation or argument and thinking, oh, this is fine, this is great, he's gonna like this. No, the hell I won't. I'm about to bitch slap the shit out of some people, 100%. So when it comes down to things, I don't care if it's good intentions or not. Don't drag my name into shit. I probably wouldn't be attacked by these horde of people with nothing to do if my name wasn't brought up so much. Am I a vocal lolicon? Sure. Am I the most extreme? Not by a long shot. Not even by a long shot, dude. If that was the case, you would probably see nothing but on this channel just those type of characters and me only caring for those type of characters. But you know that's not true. You know that's not the only thing I care about. It's not even my favorite thing in the world. I'm just like, yo, it's fictional. Get over it. It's no reason to be that, you know, strained by it, like you're getting choked out and hanged on a dang bridge or some shit about someone's opinion on whether they like this fictional character or not. It's so dumb at the end of the day. But my whole point in telling you this long back part of this story about this whole thing is that there is tons of people like me, like Miko, like Allison, Rune, and all the others that has been trashed on before at some point in time and basically did absolutely nothing to deserve the assault that they've been getting. And it's been absolutely weird, it's whack, and it's stupid that no one comes through to try to help you out in some shape and form, to try to push back against this. I ain't saying we need to take on the entire group of people. No, we don't need to do that. Just push it off enough so we don't get this shit no more, right? That's all we have to do, right? And the funny thing is, they go after people like us because they know what we know already. They would never go after people like Gura. They would never go after people like the girl that made the Lolly Requiem song. They would never go after people like Mora Calliope on this level because they know they ass would be grass at that point. They know they would get dusted 100%, dead and cooked 100%. They know that, so that's why they come to us. That's why. And honestly, having so many people basically coming after you like this makes you kind of think for a second, like, damn, you have some damn, stubbornness to be here still. You have some damn finesse to be in this situation, right? To basically be flexing while the damn wind is still trying to push you down in some regard, right? It's a lot. It's definitely something to drive someone mentally insane. But at the end of the day, as long as you don't give up on what you want to do and what you like, I think you'll be alright. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you what the hell is going to happen at the end of this. I can't tell you what's going to happen when I upload this bitch. 100%. And definitely when it comes down to things, I don't want to hear any other nonsense regarding this situation. Because at the end of things, it does not matter. You have all these other real life issues. You have the whole thing with the war over there in that certain country that I won't mention because YouTube. But when it comes down to things, you have that whole situation over there. Yet you're pissing yourself crazy because someone likes a character with two lines of hair and short as shit and is a female. What? That doesn't make sense. It's dumb. It's actually mind-numbingly dumb, and I don't necessarily understand it. There's creators like EDP who is actually still talking to real children, and yet you don't go after him, and you let them children basically just get put in those situations, and you just let that be what it is. That's stupid. It's weird and it's stupid, and you're no better than his ass, honestly, when it comes down to it. So at the end of everything, even though I don't have the amount of attention I need, and even though I may be put in this position and it's shitty as hell, definitely making content is still something I want to do. Saying what's on my brain is still something that I feel like I must do. And just wanting to go as hard as I can on this platform. And if this channel goes down, you already know what's going to happen or what should be taking place, honestly. Because at the end of the day, you should be trying to go after those people if this channel goes down, right? You should be trying to stand up for yourself and not let something like this happen again. Just keeping it real with you. No reason why you should be in fear of making content because someone doesn't like a certain character. So what? Grow the hell up, right? Like, it's so weird. It's like wrestling, right? This is like wrestling to me. Like, you might not like a certain wrestler or what they do or their mannerisms or how they speak and things like that. That might be the most asshole person like MJF or something like that. But guess what? He does his job. He does it hella good. And he has his own opinions. That doesn't mean you had to actively be out, oh, I gotta scream at the clouds because MJF, I can't stand that scumbag bozo. But when it comes down to things, guess what? He's making money. He's having a good time. He's doing what he's doing. And he's putting on a show for plenty of people that really like his stuff. And at the end of the day, why get upset about it? It is what it is, right? He's not just out there doing this shit because, it's solely for him. It's for the audience too, whether he realized that or not. And when it comes down to this situation, I'm not just doing YouTube just for myself. I'm doing this because I have other dreams in mind. I still have yet to help people. I have still yet to start a charity stream and donate some money to charity, honestly. I've still yet to help out some actual real life kids that are probably in danger as we speak right now. I want to be some type of beacon of light for somebody. I really do. It's still one of my biggest things that I want to have as we kind of go through this channel, if it's still here. But when it comes down to things, people like this make it impossible for me to find help for actual kids that's been suffering through a lot of these sexual abuse things in a lot of these different broken households where things just happen because parents don't do what the hell they're supposed to. I can't necessarily give to charity when it comes down to these big places that actually do some damn good. I can't necessarily follow the dream to be a beacon of hope for people if something like this takes me out. I can't. And I can make whatever account I want to. I can make a Blue Sky account, which I do have, and I like that Blue Sky is like a invite only type of place, meaning that people won't like be like this and come through and just bring in nonsense. I can make a other type of thing that's like Patreon to get me some more money again. I can do whatever the hell I basically want to, but at the end of the day, this is it for me. This is the biggest thing for me at the end of all of it. And if this goes down, then this just tells me two things. One, you will let anybody come through and ruin your dream and basically stop you from making whatever the hell content that comes down your way that you want to make. And two, it really shows you that people only give a shit about themselves and they do not give a shit about you. If they're not going through the situation or they're not necessarily a big name person, then they're not necessarily going to really care too much. And that is a sad ass effing thing that honestly happens way too much. You don't need to fight a whole war. You don't need to fight a whole army. You need to just stand your ground, say that this is what it is. This shit sucks. Bring this up in front of other people and really just lay down what the hell is going on. Because this shit does not make any sense. You hate someone over a piece of paper, essentially. Over a damn pixel on your screen. That makes no type of sense. Literally doesn't make any type of sense. So what if someone cares about a character or not? So what if someone wants to jump in and just be like, damn, this is my favorite character from this show, and it happens to be this small ass girl. Who cares? It's fiction. No one cares. I promise you no one does. Take this to the real world, and I guarantee you, go to a convention, I guarantee you, people will not give a shit on this damn level. And if you do, people will look at you like you're crazy. At the end of the day, instead of the lolicon. Literally. So at the end of all things, when dust is settled, I say this to be one of the very few people to speak out and essentially voice the complaints that many other VTubers has been going through and many other lolicon people has gone through when it comes down to things. And also, have you not noticed the trend of when someone calls out a lolicon, they end up becoming something bad themselves? Could there be something underneath the closet of all these people that's been harassing me? Could there be something? Who knows? But when it comes down to things, it never really ends up good at the end of the day. So when it comes down to things, even when it comes down to all the stuff they pulled, I'm not giving up. So at the end of all this stuff, don't sit down and just watch people be victims. And even if it's something that you don't necessarily agree with, don't necessarily just let this shit cook and let this be the fate of somebody else. Because at the end of the day, I had to spend all this time doing all this. Other VTubers have to spend all their time dealing with things similar to this. And is it fair for them to go through this? No. So at the end of the day, just be there for these people. Go against the people that don't necessarily have a sense of humanity in themselves that wants to attack people because of this. Don't let this shit just be there and let people just go through this. And if you have a channel with bigger followers and numbers, definitely do not go out of your way to just ignore these stories because you're not getting a big paycheck. I promise you, one video or one segment of the video where you have somebody basically going through this type of problem like I am or Miko is, I guarantee you it will not take away from your rent. I guarantee you. But that is all I have to say when it comes down to this. Again, this has been some bullshit that's been going around for a few months now, and it's been hella annoying. And now that they basically taking down the Patreon, I have to find something else I can use because you just can't get a Patreon like that, not that easily at least. So that's essentially all I really have for this one. If you really want to keep track of me, best be on Blue Sky because that's probably the only place I'm gonna be on for right now. And definitely the content will still keep going as far as we are able to. And yeah, share this around with many people, and share this around with even those very same content creators I mentioned, even all the other content creators that's out there. Share it with them because at the end of the day, this shit won't stop until somebody comes through and put their ass on blast. Honestly, that's literally when it will stop. So at the end of the day, that's all I got to say for this one. So hopefully you enjoy. Please go ahead and follow Miko Amai as well on her channel. I'll try to have that in the description as well. And yeah, Blue Sky, that's where I'm be at, and that's essentially it. And so then, it's Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.